All right, Joe.
Ready? Bring the meeting to order. Special meeting today. Mr. Turner, over to you.
All right. Yeah, we still do the pledge, don't we?
What's that? I guess we still need to do pledge. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Let Kevin catch up really quick. Ready, Kevin? Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Over here. Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks. Here. Mr. Eichmeyer. Here. Mr. Metter. Here. Mrs. Zimmer. Here. All right, Mayor, the reason for the meeting and why it had to be called so early is the city of Mount Carmel's been approached by a local LLC. Dean Kiefer is part of that LLC, and he's wanting to go into contract with the city, a 40-year lease with the city on the Snap-on property. That property would be used for solar panels. And as you see in the notes, the payout is for the first 15 years of the 40-year lease. The city would get approximately $40,000 a year in energy costs or savings. And that grand total would be around $600,000 a year. They would maintain all the property. They would also be responsible for all site improvements. They project this as a $5 million project. TikTok Energy would be the ones placing all the solar power. They would hold the property for the full 40 years. They'd have to maintain it. We'd only see the funds over 15 years. After 15 years, there wouldn't be a really big financial gain on part of the city. And the energy that's produced at this site would be geared towards low-income housing, city properties, but it couldn't include sewer or water due to their enterprise status. And approximately 130 households and non-for-profits. One of the things that they need from us, and the reason it was a rushed meeting per se, is by mid-October, before our next meeting, they basically have to have a letter of intent to participate as an anchor tenant by October, I believe, 15th to get everything done. So this is something we've been working on for a solid week, but and they're asking for a letter, basically that intent, just to get the ball rolling. It would be we wouldn't have to sign it. If they didn't get a grant, it'd be null and void. Everything would go back to the city. It just wouldn't happen. They should know that fairly quick. Some of the things I think the city needs to address, though, before we go on with the project. I mean, we can move forward now, but something before we sign an actual contract they want to know what rent would be on a yearly basis. They threw out like $1 a month. Well, the problem with that is once we start letting someone use that property for profit, our tax base changes on that. So for it to be profitable for us, I mean, we'd still make money, but I think we need to probably set whatever our taxes are on that property. Right now it's zero. Whatever that goes up to really needs to be paid by them.
Could you set it up where it's $1 per month plus they pay all real estate taxes?
Yeah, I mean, something like that overall. They weren't thinking that way, but I was like, we have to pay the taxes once we start renting that out. So, but yeah, something like that. And then this, I was told we may want to look at bonding the property in case of a site cleanup, in case, say, in year 16 they would go out, or they'd no longer find it profitable to be in business. We need to have some type of guarantee that funds will be there to clean up the property afterwards, much like they do in the oil field business. TIF, after looking at TIF and all the requirements, really, it wouldn't be beneficial really to use TIF funds for it, because we'd still own the property, therefore you'd be generating minimal tax returns on it, and TIF kind of needs to be self-sufficient. And if we're renting out that much property and not getting any tax money for it, kind of defeats the purpose of TIF. So today, all we're really going to go over is, are we willing to move forward with a letter of intent to participate? David James was at this meeting. He has interest in this program, so he was obviously for it, but it's not a conflict with Mount Carmel Public Utility. And Mount Carmel Public Utility, I believe, they are good with the city moving forward with this lease to the come to fruition.
Well, my question is, how do they, or do we know, like they say the energy is all geared towards low income city, how do they get that to cover those properties?
It'll be ran through Mount Carmel Public Utility. So out of the 130 houses, the way it works, or the way they explained it to me, is before they ever go online, they hope to have 130 houses signed up for it. Actually, they want more than that, because unlike with Mount Carmel Public Utility, that gives you a month to kind of get your finances back before they cut you off. This program, if you're late on your payment, you're automatically kicked out of the program. You go right back to Mount Carmel Public Utility 100%. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So
There'd still be a service fee provided.
there's still a transport fee
Right.
is for public utility. So
Like nonprofits, what would qualify for a nonprofit?
everything from, well, a church, the museum, the homeless shelter, the senior center.
I mean, because you mentioned that our enterprise first, our water is here, but we're still not a for-profit operation, that's why.
Right, they said those are the two stipulations that would not be eligible. And that's per the grant, that's not anything on their end, I don't know, but City Hall, the fire station, any of that could get the benefits, so.
Would they be utilizing our enterprise zone?
No,
No? Okay.
not at this time, that wasn't even addressed. The TIF was addressed, and at the time I told them I didn't. TIF really, for solar projects, they use it, but it's not, this one here, we'd just be spinning our wheels. We wouldn't see the funds replenished in the time frame that we're getting a profit.
How much property actually is that? Like how,
11 acres and some change approximately. So
that's basically not usable at this point.
it could be, but I mean, we have very little interest in it. Right now, we're paying to maintain it. In the past 4 years, we've put a lot of work into it by work. I mean, trying to level it out and get it to where it's easy to maintain, but no, it's we take care of that, so.
As far as usability on the Snap-on property for us, it had a Brownsfield done on it, but it only went through the first phase of it. Second phase was never fully completed by Snap-on. And for it to be utilized for most public things, it would have to go finalize if the state would allow a finalization of phase 2, or if a phase 2 would have to be completely started over with all the sites being reopened that they were monitoring prior.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of work if you wanted to put housing, food.
Housing, park, anything of that nature on it. Or you would have to create a 10-inch concrete barrier around the whole area that would be utilized by the public if the city wanted to do a building, which we kind of looked at utilizing it that way, but and at that time, the grant would have allowed for those type of barriers to have been put in through those, funds, but those, those grants are come and gone since COVID.
Would I assume they'd fence all of that in?
Yes, everything would be, they would fence everything in, they would mow, maintain it. Yeah, they 100% would be in charge of maintaining all of that. But yes, fencing.
Sounds like a win-win for us, really.
Yeah, financially, we wouldn't see a whole bunch, but the general public, the ones that would qualify for the low income, credits for their electrical would be the big winners on this in our community.
Yeah, I think, it's a fairly large, it's like 30-40% reduction in their energy cost, I think, so.
And that could be anywhere within the city limits, those households?
Yep.
And they apply? Is that how they're gonna do it, or do you
Yeah,
have an
they'll
idea?
take an
of
application,
applications?
and then that's why they're hoping to have at least minimum 130, but then have a little more than that, just so if people are late or don't pay, then they automatically kick them off. Next person on the list moves in and takes their spot.
Do you have any idea if it would be like the, like people that rent houses, but they still pay their utilities?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, because I did ask about some of the apartment complexes and stuff, and they told me they thought so, but they'd have to get back with me, because that's.
I briefly read through the grant that they're looking at, and it goes by the low income person, not so much the property.
Okay.
Because if it went by property and, I don't know, they wouldn't be able to do it that way primarily because of, people, you have a variable amount of people that are low income that rent, a variable amount of people that are low income and own. And so
If they owned and took assets into consideration, it could cause a person that's technically financially low income, but the house maybe sets them up. I don't know. Not sure how they do that part. But for today, it's just a letter of intent to move forward so they can get it. Before we'd sign any contract, we'd bring it back to the council for final approval.
So what is everybody thinking about the monthly charge on it? Are we fine with minimal?
So you gotta cover your taxes.
Well, that would be the addition, what they would do. We would set a monthly charge or a yearly charge minimum, and then on top of that, we would do another one where, they would pay property taxes on it once it went into the, regular file, basically we wouldn't be able to file a P-tax on it anymore, so.
Do you have any other properties currently that we are leasing to other?
Well,
Yes,
kinda West Berwick, kinda is we're in a
The club,
contract,
not the golf course.
Yeah, the club, and then, the Public Works building.
So the club building is leased, and it's, I can't remember, like $100 a year maybe?
Yeah, something.
And then they pay the taxes on it,
And they pay the taxes.
Mhm.
which are really high.
And the Public Works, we pay the taxes, but it's built into the rent, so we cover our taxes on that.
Mhm.
So that's all I have for today.
So definitely we want to work in that they cover the property taxes at the rate that we receive. Also, the bonding of the property in case of site cleanup, I think is a good thing. That way it's not on 15, 20, 40 years. It's on, on the city's back.
Yeah.
Do we want to go monthly or, yearly? Yearly would be simpler.
Yeah.
County would appreciate
Yeah.
that 1 year.
Yeah.
Return it to its original condition, other than that fence they're gonna put around it, they can leave it if they decide to pull out.
The fence is something that they're going to have to do if they do the project, so.
what I'm saying, that's what you were
Yeah.
talking about, the bonding. Leave the fence there and take everything else if they ever decide they're
Yeah.
gonna pull out.
True. And then as far as the yearly charge,
Yearly chart, oh.
What do we pay on property taxes now, do you know?
nothing, because it's
We
under,
own it, but once we rent it out to or lease it to
we will not know
someone-
until, what they do is they go in and they'll take an assessment of the property and what is on the property being the solar system. If it's 5 million, then, you know, what, that'll be assessed.
Right.
So,
That's gonna be a pretty
but
good
we
thing.
won't know that until after the assessment.
It's
yeah.
still assessed at a lower rate though.
Yeah.
because We own the property.
Like farm ground,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that low, but yes,
Yeah.
it's an assessed value.
I think,
yeah, I'm good with it.
what are you thinking about the yearly charge here?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, $100.
$100?
I mean,
Yeah, if we've done that for Westbrook.
Yeah, we already
already
said
do the
that.
same.
Yep.
Okay. So taxes are
we're saving
paid.
money on mowing and.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's a lot of ground to maintain.
Anybody else have any questions? Giving authorization to Ryan and myself to move forward with this?
You need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion.
I'll make it.
Have a second.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer. Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
That's all I've got there.
Any other things that we need to address this evening? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second? Roll call. All right, if you all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign.